discussion? No. Okay, we are recording, yeah. Okay, good. Get started with the pledge of allegiance. Go ahead, Dave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Is Grateful Telling joining us today?
Haven't heard otherwise.
I haven't heard otherwise. I'll text them, but go ahead and. Well, the first one is the water master plan, right? Do we need them to kind of tell us anything about that other than we've got a proposal? We have a proposal from MRB, and what we're doing is we're updating our PRVs, which is one of our critical infrastructure. Currently, they're undersized and not set, I'll say, correctly for downstream operations as they fluctuate back and forth.
Okay.
And also, I'd like to look at maybe a different vendor than Ross.
So he's gonna be laying out,
He'll be laying it
PRVs need to be replaced, et cetera.
Well, I wasn't replaced, but we're gonna go say from a 2-inch to a 4-inch
Okay,
PRV on the domestic side of the water main.
okay,
All right, he's also gonna provide an update, tank mixing, aeration. Sorry, you got it for you guys, I
yeah,
apologize.
that's okay. So do we need to do anything with this other than, at some point we gotta bring it to the board for approval, right?
Yeah, which I believe is.
Yeah, there it
It's
is.
gonna go on the,
It's on this next meeting.
yeah, it's gonna go on the 17th agenda
Okay,
to the proposal and for Jim to be able to sign it.
You mean 24th, right?
17th.
17, yeah,
the board meeting we're talking about?
17th.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Where is the 17th?
I got the 17th.
Yeah, I have 17th too.
there is a 24th. We have 2 meetings.
Right, I saw that one.
I got a meeting on the 24th also.
That's,
Yeah,
that's correct.
presentation workshop.
Okay. So Greg, just kind of talking about your proposal for the master plan for water system,
Oh, okay, yep.
anything? I don't know, anything you need to add or
Um,
outline or?
no, I mean, it's, you know, we. There's some scope that we kind of added in based off of some of the things that are going on with the water system, to kind of. Take it from just like a generic update to something a little bit more useful for the town, I guess, so to speak, so.
Okay.
There's like testing in there for residual testing, chlorine, that'll help us update the model as it relates to like water age. Which translates to THMs, and then we also have some THM sampling. To gauge where certain types of treatment techniques might be useful for us. As we look at like people downstream, you know, going Canada and burst, you know, that area. So that's basically generally the bulk of it, so. The things I would ask you guys is like, you know. Do you want to handle the water master plan through this committee, or do you want to create like a subcommittee that deals with the water master plan?
I see through this committee.
I think for this committee,
Okay.
I don't think we need to
No,
create a new committee or anything to.
Okay.
no, we have plenty of committees.
And the first time we did this, it was like a, through the CIC and then some subcommittee, it definitely. There's certain, at least with this document, wasn't necessarily as political as I thought the sewer master plan ended up being.
We don't need as many layers.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if we need to say anything more about that. Anybody have any questions, comments about this?
It's gotta get it signed, right?
Yeah, you guys will.
Yeah, just want to go through it.
Yeah, Jared, we were just summarizing the water master plan. Pretty straightforward. But, okay,
One of the things I still have developed future zone map is that the current zoning map?
No, no,
to be
no.
Updated? or-
No, this is like pressure zones,
Oh,
not,
okay.
not zoning.
Not
as-
service
Where
zones.
the water's
Yeah,
gonna be,
yeah,
right.
so like, you know. When Kendall came on, one of the first things he kind of asked us to investigate was like what we could do to adjust all the pressure planes. Because we have some pressure planes or pressure zones, the lowest part of the system has the highest pressure. We have a lot of pipes that are running around 150 to 170 psi, which is generally really high. And normally you'd want to have those in a something below 100. So some of this was kind of looking at if we were going to try to make some of those adjustments as to how we might be able to do that. It's a little difficult because like your two pressure planes are actually quite a bit apart in elevation. So you have to look at some type of pressure plane somewhere along the hillside coming down the Westlake Road. Would have to establish it. But the issue that we have in doing some of that is just that there's no real demand in between those areas, so it's not necessarily ideal just yet. But that's the whole thing, is we're looking for zoning, just to kind of make sure that we have all that kind of
It's just
adjusted.
this proposal sounds much more extensive than that, in terms of future growth of the system, respect to comprehensive plan.
Yeah, we would.
Which is fine, it's probably being needed, but.
Yeah, we would be coordinating with the comprehensive plan, we would be coordinating with your, I think we had, you know, the MOU, and then where we had the transfer of development rights,
I see the TDR.
yeah, the TDR, just try to make sure that like the water system's in concert with those documents, or at least give you guys ideas as to like, okay, to be in concert with those planning documents, you have to change X, Y, and Z, right?
So if we approve this here at either the 17th or the 24th meetings, what's your timing for this?
We can, I mean, Derek's ready to go on it, so, it'll probably take, I would say going through this process is probably gonna be about a 3-month to 4-month process. The sampling will obviously getting the results and stuff like that, the residual stuff will be pretty easy, I mean, that's just going out and taking a residual, with a hand out.
For chlorine.
Yeah, for chlorine, that's simple, but I mean, sending this stuff out for THMs does take a few weeks to get those samples back.
So completion early fall.
Yeah, I would say. We should be shooting for adoption before the end of the year.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, move on to Winter Road. Jim, I'll turn it over to you at this
I
point.
mentioned yesterday, in the finance committee about, 7, 8 roads that have had failure from the winter roads, like. This isn't just like putting blacktop down, this is putting some new sub base drainage, base and binder, or base and top to fix these areas throughout the town, and you know, it's around $500 million worth of work. These are conservative numbers, I didn't like spend
A lot
a
of
lot of time on, but I put the number I feel comfortable that it would cover the repairs of these roads that have failed this winter. So with that, I mentioned yesterday, I wasn't sure where we were at with if there was any unexpended fund balance from last year's D line to use for this, for this year. Or do we talk about discussing, maybe we do something less that we planned in this year's budget to make these repairs? Is the question I have for the committee today to ask. Are we comfortable with using some money from the D fund to fix it, or do I look at readjustment to a 4 agreement to make these repairs to stay within budget? Is what I'm asking today. I'm not looking for an answer, I'm just bringing it to your attention. So we can have that discussion, because we're not gonna do it next month, all right? It's just here for information and for discussion to discuss next month.
But it needs to be done.
It needs to be done,
So you're basically asking, where does the money come from?
correct?
Are all these failures like basically just from frost coming out of the ground?
It is frost,
Yeah.
and you know, they're not highly, but they're not well-built roads, okay? They've had,
Antique.
you know, they've had asphalt laid over them, they don't have drainage, you know, that's like the correct sub base underneath them, it's just. A lot of it's just repairs. Now, Goodale Road, I can't explain why in 17 years that settled so bad along the water main, it's in the shoulder this year, but it did.
Which road?
Goodale Road. You know, so we've never had this problem before. A significant cracking and failure and, disproportionate elevations that, you know, the guys have to carry the weight, make sure you don't catch up.
No, leave or anything.
What's that?
You know, leave or anything.
It's the whole road,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
So how do we answer Jim's question where the money comes from? What do we have to do?
So Jim, so of your regular maintenance. Remind me, what percentage would that be if it was like, no, just take it out of the fund?
So.
So these repairs,
Mhm.
if it was, no, just take it out of your regular road repair fund, what percent, do you know, ballpark?
Oh, maybe like, well, it's not quite a $2 million budget, so.
So it'd be about a quarter of it,
10%
25.
of it,
cause this is the 250.
yeah, it's a 250.
So,
That's
okay.
conservative.
Alright, so, I mean. And then that puts us behind on the other things that we need to do.
Well, we might not pave a road, we might not do
Right.
some.
The regular
color as well as
maintenance, the regular maintenance that we should do. So to try to prevent these patch problems from coming up.
Well, yeah, I mean, cause. For one, it's the public travel that, like Goodale Road's a perfect example, I got bump signs up because it
Yeah.
heaves so bad.
Yeah.
We have to dig that out and fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. Shoulder, a fair amount of shoulder work where it just blew apart. Due to the lack of drainage roads. And, you know. Again, this would be something that we could know that's there and maybe asphalt prices won't be so bad this summer. Okay, maybe they won't ratchet up, do the 800 per English ton, stay around 600, which would help. We could, I could make these repairs, identify them, and then take a look at the budget a little bit later. Again, I'm not looking for an answer later,
Right.
but it's something that needs to be, I need to repair these either way.
Yep.
So if I don't decide to do something later, then that's what we do.
And I would, I mean, knowing that, I mean, we could. Know that there might be, you know, we're gonna be looking at. What, you know, some of our fund balance discussion and it might be say, set aside 200. To
Right.
put into there. And then to see where that gets us.
Well, my question is more, now that we know the numbers. Is this something that the finance committee could look at the budget and say, here's where we could take some money from? Or is it something John should take a look at and come back and say? Maybe we could steal the money from here in preparation for the finance meeting and conversation, how do you think? Process wise.
Work with Josh on that.
Yeah, we'll take a look, cause we're at a meeting right after this, we're meeting. On CIP budget
Right.
stuff anyway, so.
We can discuss it then, and yeah, we can discuss it then and see where we look, but. I mean, if we come back and we say there's nothing. We've gotta get it done, so we've gotta take some of that reserve fund, we've gotta. Put a padding in there so we can get that, fix this and keep up with the other things.
Well, I know we have highway reserve fund for repairs. I think it's 350,
Yeah, well, I remember we used some of that for the budget
okay,
to drop the tax rate,
okay,
because we increased your budget. By a lot to fully fund everything, so,
you know,
but it's back to what we're meaning about after this today, Jess should have some numbers for us on what. What carryovers we have from last year, so we should, that's what part of the discussion with, CIP budget said was what was left over from last year that we can start putting into CIP budgets. So if it has to go to this instead, I mean.
That'll give us an idea of kind of what we're looking at, what we have or don't have to even apply to it. If we were to do that, but I also think. To John's point, if there are places where we could look. Or even, pull it out of the highway reserve, repair reserve, if you need to. But knowing that we'll look for that you have it there at least, and knowing that we'll look to restore that.
So in summary though, Jared, it sounds to me like. John should bring a recommendation to the finance committee
Yeah,
for review.
Yeah, after our discussion.
next
And
finance committee
say,
will have,
and the finance committee should appropriate or make a recommendation as to how we're gonna.
Move those funds,
Fund the
right.
$250,000, right?
Yeah,
We all in agreement?
Agreed.
Yeah. That's kind of what I think the best process.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
finance meeting, we'll have we'll have some preliminary budget transfer request on how to fund it, so.
Yeah. Okay, good. Anything else on this particular topic we need to talk about?
No, I just, that's the number I'm looking for and
Yeah.
we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
So,
Capital project status and review.
yes.
So we listed,
I
give us
put
a
down
summary
8
of
of
our
them.
eight projects here.
Yeah. And there might be more that John and Jared might offer, these are the ones that.
Yep.
I tend to touch on, so.
And I think Terry's idea here was that we were gonna go and keep a running summary of, what do you need? Good?
Oh, that's that.
No, we're good, keep talking. So Terry had the idea that we would keep a running summary of what projects are ongoing. And kind of talk about them here at this meeting if we needed to talk about them, but we keep this summary running.
Yep.
As an attachment to our agenda and kind of just update them. Every month. And with that, I guess I'll just say, Jim, you might give us a quick rundown on each one of these and just a couple
I'll
sentences is all we need, I think.
Fire Station 2 alone for a moment, I'll go with Upland Ononda Park. So we have been slowly doing stuff, the reason why it's been slowly is the ground's been frozen. And I'm concerned that if we have a rain, a snow or a melting event, it's gonna be a mess at the bottom of the hill, I really don't want that to happen. So. Once we get a little better weather that's a little more consistent, that's. Allows us to move the earth and grade it and do it correctly, we'll start that work up there. At Ononda, but currently we've removed the trees, most of the stumps. Remove rocks. Things are laid out for us to move forward on the stormwater plan and the actual switchback going up to the top of the hill. I'm just waiting a few more weeks before we do that weather-wise. Alright, North Road, yesterday, we talked about that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, let me just jump in on the parks, just so you guys are aware, we're going through, trying to get the septic system approved.
Oh, yeah.
So normally we would just be working with like the new George Barton, I keep forgetting what the guy's name is, but.
Is it Colin? No, not your guy, is Colin.
No, it's Mark Grove from my office is kind of working through it, so anyways, we got. Don Cardinal's got involved, I don't know if you guys know what that guy is, he's one of the older DEC guys, but he threw the letter from like 2014 about the Speedies permit
Okay.
for all of the outfalls on that park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately, my emails have been updated, so like I've lost access to some of my older emails because I know we had a discussion about this. I can't remember how we resolved it.
We saw, we. What?
Yeah,
We
so
did work down there.
yeah, well, it was the 2014 where they sent a letter that basically said that we were modifying an outfall and they basically wanted us to go through the permitting for all those outfalls. Anyways, but we've made modifications to the septic. Yeah, on the lower section, and they allowed us to do that going through George Barton. So now we're trying to modify the septic that was approved on the uphill side. It was done with Kings Hall. But that was also approved by George Barton. We're trying to modify that for the new, obviously the new cabins and the bathhouse, etc. And they basically flagged it and said, brought this 2014 letter back out, said, we don't think you resolved this. So we've been going back and forth with them, and now basically they're trying to get us to a point of being covered under a general permit, which I think is actually better. But a lot of it is like this weird ownership of, we own the upland side, but the state owns the lower.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's I think where we're getting hung up with
Mm-hmm.
the regulatory people is because of that. So I'm just bringing that to your attention because like Mark's going, and we are,
So this is, so again, that's creating issues.
yes,
So I've had conversations with the governor's office, with Zach and the DEC, with the Region 8 director of the DEC.
Mhm.
Whoever. We met down there, talked about it, they're comfortable, they're like, okay, we're gonna get this moving, we'll start the process. It'll go to the DEC, we'll be good. I talked to Zach, he's like, no update, no update, no update. So now the governor has a new regional director, so now I'm gonna go start pushing him more, because now that. Before it was like, we want it because we just want the ownership, that was the plan, the
Right.
ultimate plan after all these years. Now it's causing a problem.
right,
Now it's causing, not having ownership of the lower portions causing a problem, it's delaying improvements. For this, so that's, I will have
It's
that
it's
conversation with
delaying
them.
getting the new septic.
Yeah.
approved, right,
When you talk to, it also, and it's kind of became an issue now for FEMA, because we don't own it, but we did the work for the DEC. So we're trying to straighten that out. So
It's volunteer work. We don't.
So-
they don't necessarily wanna pay it.
Yeah,
Because
we
they said
donate
the
it.
state should have done the work, not the town, and they should be getting reimbursed.
Okay, no, those are good
I
things
just,
to know.
I just let you know that that's another.
No, those are good.
Came up with last week as a issue with FEMA.
and Jim, have we shared the minor tweak there with the bathhouse going into the end roundabout? And the adjusted parking lot?
Yes,
Okay, I just wanna make sure everyone, I couldn't remember if we run it by these guys, so they're aware of that minor tweak. But yeah, so the water is approved. We should have everything back from Jadestone relatively soon. Talking.
yeah, he told me a 600 amp service to go up the hill, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we need to coordinate with those guys to get the generator and temporary,
Power.
pole mounted panels. For that, because originally we had talked about having the generator up at the bathhouse. But due to how we wanna stage everything, it might make sense to bring the generator further down the hillside.
Right.
So we're just trying to coordinate that, I just wanna make sure you guys are aware of that as we kind of work through the process.
You're raising a question from me, and I'm gonna say, what the heck do we need a generator for?
Well, you need a generator because you're gonna have 4-season rentals. If
And there's a concern that might go out.
yeah, exactly, I think you have to have something in that,
Okay,
cause it's, to me, I would just say it's kind of too remote.
and we do get some blackouts on the road, so.
Right.
Okay, anything else we need to talk about as far as Wanda goes?
Not really,
Okay,
um,
and North Road, the bid is now,
The 18th.
Yeah.
So D Fiore and Sealand committed to bidding by kicking the date.
Yeah.
So as I was explaining to Jim, that gives us a much better chance to land a contractor that we'd probably be really comfortable working with.
Yep.
And talking with the guy from Dolomite, everybody on our list, probably except for that one, he said they're all gonna do a bang out job.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, these are like the creme de la creme of roadwork guys.
so what about
okay,
Seneca Point Road Culvert, MRV continues to work with Robbie on. Leading us to a point of bidding, Greg is. Hopefully, next year we'll put this in.
Yeah, we should be bidding this sometime later this year and hopefully constructing next year. So I've been going back and forth with Robbie, as you guys are aware, we started with an 8x10. An 8x8x10, or sorry, 8x10 culvert. From what was in the report, going through the process, the H&H study, they've suggested that we have to increase the size, one to help with permitting, to a 16x8. So span is now 16 foot, not 8 foot, it's obviously, it's a different animal. And then as part of that, there's some other issues that kind of come up because now the structure is bigger, the weight of the sections are bigger. So one of the things that we're investigating right now is actually sheeting one side of the job to allow us to bring the crane that would pick these sections, because the sections, as they sit right now, they're about 20,000 pound per section. So we wanna be able to pick and set those as close to their final resting place as possible. And then now I'm coordinating, I just sent out the email to Brad this morning. From RG&E to basically start coordinating with the power lines. There's 3-phase power lines that are on the western side, so we need to coordinate with those guys to see if they can either de-energize those temporarily for us to set those sections, or I mean, ideally, if they could drop them for a week or so for us to allow us to set the sections. We just need to work that out with those guys, because that'll be that's a significant constraint, because that it can't pick over the wires, and obviously we have to set sections west of the power lines. So just fun things for us to kind of work through, but we should have an updated set of plans to share with you by the next meeting. I've been going back and forth with Robbie, so I think we're in agreement with like how we're coming up with the overall budget, because like DOT is weird. They pay for every little thing. If somebody picks up a shovel, you gotta pay for that. If they set it down, you gotta pay for that, and they're different pay items. It's not just picking up and setting down a shovel, it's picking it up and then you have to pay them and set it down. It's a little bit of hyperbole, but it's really not, because when we're doing our backfill calculation, when we do this stuff, like for us, we would just have backfill. But we have to have backfill for the wing walls, separate from backfill from the culvert, separate from backfill for the road, separate from embankment fill. It's just, when you look at it, like I would have one number that they'll have like 5 or 6. And so it takes a little time to kind of break everything down. So all I'm gonna say is, I understand why DOT jobs cost a lot of money to do.
All in the name of efficiency.
All in the name of,
Efficiency, yeah, right.
yeah,
So right now you're 16 by 8.
16, well, 16, I think we're 16, actually, sorry, we're 16 by 9 rise, so we can bury the 1 foot to give the hydraulic connectivity. The 16-foot wide is because the GB standards from the Army Corps says we have to be 1.25 times the normal bank width, which is determined by the ordinary high water level when you look upstream and downstream. So
So now you gotta make your channels wider coming in and going out, right?
yeah, well, you gotta flare it out. I mean, it kind of does already flare out because it kind of comes in and it sweeps into our culvert. But
Okay.
the biggest thing is like, I'm looking for ways to, be cost efficient, and one of the things that we're intending to use is what's called a Gravix wing wall. They're precast panels. They're only like about 4 inches thick, but they have these structural components that's like kickers in behind them. Instead of doing to do precast wing walls, they'd be too heavy, like full precast, they'd be too heavy for us to pick. They're just and too big to send down the road at that point in time. So you could do it with like a modular, but when you look at the cost per square foot, these Gravix walls kind of make sense because they go together relatively quickly. So it's just something a little bit different as we go through the design, just trying to find ways to save money. But the other added fun thing that we're adding into it is we have to figure out a way to get a haul road down into the culvert, which we've done. I was kind of surprised we were able to make that work. But basically what it'll be is be a working bench next to where we're the culvert one side, so that we can bring in aggregate and whatever else down to that area, and then they'll start working their way out.
Sounds like they did that kind of on 12, how we did. All going out.
Yeah, it's just, it's an incredibly deep culvert, so it prevents some logistical challenges as it relates to construction.
Sounds like a good case study.
Yeah, when you get into it and you think of like culvert replacement, you're like, that's not that big of a deal, it's just a culvert. And then you get into some of the details, you're like, man, how do I do this? Like, how do I get a vehicle down close enough? So, yeah.
Okay. I put FEMA on there, we're slowly but steadily getting to a point of closing out some culverts. Jared got some information today from the state that they've agreed to a number to reimburse us of 75%, and the state 12.5 of the 120,000.
Something like that,
Something like that.
between 120 and 130.
Right, so we're making progress on each culvert. I hope by June, we're done with it. With most of the paperwork. Other than closing out the projects when we're completed, we'll have somewhere around 850 to $1 million. We'll get to repair these culverts and projects in that neighborhood. So when it comes in, John, we should probably, as revenue, but track it separately, like as capital FEMA funding for culvert repairs, something like that, whatever.
You said $1 million in funding?
For 850 to $1 million, again, I'm not sure about what's on there right now, because we don't own it, and it's been a long discussion on dual road. I don't, they just don't do ponds and storage very well for retainage of sediment. And where to go, and how much you really have in there, and a lot of questions on that pond project still. It'll get done, it just takes longer than I expected, so.
So what is your thought for that? Is that, are you gonna need any of that to make yourself full from these projects, or are you redoing those? With what we had on hand,
No, we'll need that money to do these
to
projects.
reimburse and make ourselves whole.
Yeah, well, basically what we'll do, cause we'll end up roughly with 12.5% of it will come out of our pocket. And we'll have to come up with for each location. So.
Which call should I do? I'm sorry.
So we got Simon White Road, Wells Curtis Road, Yerkes Road, Hopkins. Short,
Oh, okay.
this is one.
I was gonna say, if you could,
Oh, Smith
okay.
Road,
Bristol Road?
no, not Bristol Road, no.
Yeah. Okay,
So there's
Smith.
seven of them. Yes,
Okay,
yeah, there's no way I was gonna recall those all off the top of my head.
okay.
Next.
Look at the ones.
oh yeah, town hall renovations, how are they going?
Good, I mean. But if you haven't been there, the whole, that side of the building's pretty gutted and. Floors are grinded down. Bare now, so they're just plugging away. Bathrooms are downstairs are gutted. And they should be getting back to those soon to start putting them back together.
When's your next progress meeting?
I think it's actually.
We just
yeah.
had one, we just had one this week.
Yeah, we're progress meetings every other Wednesday, we had one this week. That bathroom, they expected to be down for about a month, so. I guess they ran into an issue though with, running a line, there's a beam in the way, so they gotta come up with a different plan. To deal with it, so.
How's that going with court, with bathrooms upstairs?
I haven't had any complaints so far. I mean, we have everything upstairs secure. So we've had one court night so far and got no seemingly issues.
Yeah, it's been,
I don't even know. The first court that they had that was here it was during the day 1 to 5. No, I didn't even see anybody actually come upstairs to use the bathroom, so, but no complaints so far.
Good.
Their side of the building, the construction side of the building is secure. With on its own key, change some locks out so that they can have a key to that side of the building that doesn't open up any other doors other than that one. So that they can leave their tools and stuff and not have to worry about the court nights. Locking all the other doors upstairs. Had no complaints from anybody really, so far.
No news is good news.
You know, citizens
Mm-hmm.
coming in, nobody's complaining about the construction or anything. The biggest complaint is that they come to look for the assessor and they gotta come over the highway for us.
If that's the biggest complaint, we're doing well.
But looks like they're plugging away. Everything's on schedule.
Okay, good. I put the culvert grant in there because we did receive that and we approved it. I just wasn't sure
Yep,
where
so
we were at with it.
I'm going through all the administrative stuff to get things set, so I gotta flip my task order to Costitch and they're gonna go out and do the preliminary survey, so.
Okay,
With the snow kind of receding, I might actually be able to get them out there sooner than later, so. Yeah, I just gotta go ahead and get their schedule and I'll let you guys know when they're gonna be in the area so that you can. You know, put something out there, let people know that they're working on something for the town, it's not some weirdo walking up your yard.
Please.
Yeah.
yeah. I added the Bristol Water IMA. I know it's not really a capital, but John and I had met about it and discussed some language changes that he was going to discuss with Nadler to get back to the board. I don't know if he responded back to yet.
No, I didn't, I think in the end, I thought, we'd say, I don't think we really need.
Okay.
Because he approved that original IMA anyway, he's the one that wrote it, the only changes we're making is operationally the number
Oh, there were units.
of units, which isn't gonna be up to him. And
Did you tweak the out of district?
Yeah, remember talk about 5 and
Yeah,
just leave it at 3, so it's to save our voice.
no, I mean the out of district users, so like the outer users were covering the same.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cause I couldn't remember, I remember that being an issue, cause it was whatever multiplier we had, didn't make.
we took your number from the report.
Oh, okay, good,
It said interest, principal, operation, maintenance, and water consumption.
okay, perfect.
yeah, and then there was one other,
And
It's like-
administration fee.
yeah, just administration. Oh, just putting in there what the administrative fee is, so you gotta, so we just gotta determine that, so I think there's really any need to loop Nadler and to it.
And once that's done, I think John will bring it to our board.
Yeah.
For discussion.
Yeah, the only thing we gotta do is just you're gonna figure out that fee,
Yes,
so.
okay.
Yeah, we need to have that locked down
And then,
internally before we meet with them, because the meetings with them are always interesting.
Yeah,
yeah, so I guess. We probably don't need to come back to PPW with that prior to setting the meeting with them, so if we figure out.
I'll
setting
talk
the
to
meeting
Fred.
between now. And the next PPW, and then hopefully maybe the next PPW will have whatever the final
Yeah.
document is.
I'll talk to Fred. We should also, Fred's not running again.
Yeah.
I can't remember her first name. No, that's South Bristol. Apple Nap. She lives on a big house on a hill in Bristol. They're all engineers.
Oh, great.
She's running. You're out of a job. She's. No, it's like says the lawyer who now doesn't. So, but I've talked to her for quite a while and she's seemed pretty down to earth, unlike most engineers, she's more relatable.
Hey.
well, she might understand what you're like.
Currently working engineers.
So,
So, I will include her in the meeting because we don't wanna start fresh and have to re-explain with it to anybody.
Mhm.
Cause it is a little convoluted at times, so we'll invite her. I'll do that.
and the last thing I had here was, fire station number 2. I put together that list. And on the agenda, as you know, yesterday, I'm asking the town board to approve that ventilation system. And we also had other items of discussion.
So. We met with city and the chief yesterday and found out why that lease agreement expired in 2019
Oh, okay.
because it got wrapped into the actual city fire contract. So
Say that again, please, John,
the lease agreement that was a standalone document that I found when we started talking about this. Expired in 2019, but it's because it got wrapped into the actual fire contract that we have with them. So inside the fire contract document is also the lease agreement
Okay.
portion. So now there is language.
But what does that mean? It's wrapped in there.
It just means it's
It's
still, we still have a valid
It's still
lease
valid.
agreement contract, yes.
That contract.
But and it's all pretty much similar language, and so there's language in there that they are to maintain the building, inside, interior, general wear and tear. And other things, which might be some of the things that are on this list, which actually were, we're up to the city to maintain. But we're also, in discussions talking about potentially, using those things when it comes down to coming up with a price for the actual contract, so. And then whether, what we're gonna do with the building. How we want it to move forward, was it?
Cause we had talked about, we did throw the idea out of, what we do with the building going forward. So about ownership of the building.
Okay.
They didn't close the door on that about a building purchase, and then it all gets baked into whatever our agreement is. Whatever, in that building maintenance, so then instead of having two eyes trying to do building maintenance.
Yeah.
In that gray area, you have one, and then we have an agreement with escalators, and we would develop a joint capital plan, most likely. Or they would send that, we work together on that. And then based on the capital improvement plan for the building, that would incorporate whatever our portion of the improvements would be.
So I would sell a building for like $1 million to get a discount. Right?
Score, yeah,
Yeah.
we
Well,
can score
yeah.
for a year.
So, cause we let them know that all, that work could add up to almost about $1 million, all the work that needs to be done in there, so.
Yeah.
So to be paying for that, plus whatever the contract's gonna be, be pretty significant, so they're fine, we're still got some thoughts and working together on. Whatever we can do to make it a nice place to be, but also not such a financial burden for the town.
Okay, so.
So we're not anywhere yet for what.
So.
Long story short, we're not,
We're right where we are.
anything that we can get done that, like we brought the lights there, so that's, that's good, but as far as any significant. Expenditures, I don't think we're there yet and determined what, what we're gonna do.
Yeah, so right, we're exactly where we were before, we just have a little bit more knowledge. But no action steps to take yet.
As long as we wrapped in the negotiations.
Yeah, but they do appreciate the roof improvements and some of the other things that were done, John recognized that. And they're like, we know that this money is going in and getting put into the building, the roof improvements, the generator, the other things, the ventilation system. I don't predict we'll have anything figured out. It'll be several months before we work through and decide anything in a specific direction.
I think maybe we could work on some of the exterior, like, okay, lighting,
Yes.
get that resolved
Mhm.
around the building, so it's. But
my instinct is telling me that's kind of ass backwards.
Okay.
I kind of think you oughta, before we put money into it. Town and or the city, I think we ought to deal with the ownership issue and get that out of the way, and then let. The owner. If it ends up being the city, take care of the maintenance and address that. That's kind
But
of.
the only thing I would say to that is that there are people in there right now, and it's
Yeah, I
in
agree
very
with
bad.
Bad
shape, so
conditions, right.
we don't wanna, I mean, if, I'm with you though, John, I mean, we're putting money into it, but I think we've gotta get that on a scorecard somewhere, if we do sell it, then it comes back out, but we can't leave these guys hanging in that building.
And you just said, Jared, that we're a few months away. Why? Why can't we accelerate that, or why can't
Because,
we?
well, he's gotta take it back to city council and they would have to agree.
So it's 1 month intervals, that was what we're
It's
looking
1
at.
month intervals, number one. Sometimes city council doesn't work as fast as we do. It's more difficult to get things done and move through there. So that's just my gut saying, we shouldn't think we're gonna be able to get this done in a week or 2 weeks or by our next meeting. That conservatively, I'm thinking we should plan on a few months just because of the back and forth. Because they're gonna get attorneys involved. He's gonna need to take it to city council.
The process.
The process is just gonna drag out. If we could sit down and hash everything out and get everybody in a room and be done in a day, that'd be awesome, but.
So my question now is relative to conversations about how we wanna progress and move forward. We're doing this now at the PPW. Should we be doing this in an executive session?
I don't think this is the executive session
Yeah.
discussion yet.
It's not
You're
yet.
not talking about the
But
finance.
In terms of direction, how we think we wanna move forward.
Oh,
Should
if
we be talking about that
internal
internally?
discussions, yeah, internal
That's what
discussions.
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah, internal discussions that deal with the specific financials
yes.
that it might be. The
Or
specific,
or the direction that we wanna move, right? Do we wanna go and charge them a rent?
Yeah.
Or do we wanna go and just offload the building and have the city
right,
buy it? Or kinda what is the direction that we, prefer.
that part I see, I mean, we need to make sure that we. Take care of ourselves and our residents and our taxpayers and do best by them, and that might necessitate.
might be worth
having
a
that.
10-minute
It might be
conversation,
worth having that discussion and just saying, look, this is where we are.
that's where we wanna go.
This is a straw poll of how we think, how we feel.
John or Jared. If I'm correct, there is language that the town's responsible for certain stuff in the building, if I'm correct saying that.
So.
I don't know the exact, go ahead.
I thought it was we were outside, they were inside, just to simplify things, like.
Yeah.
There was, so I don't recall there being anything specific, other than, says the city shall do all custodial work on the interior of the building and ordinary repairs to the interior of the building. To keep and maintain the premise in the same condition they were in when the city entered the premises, except for ordinary wear and tear. That was pretty much, and this is from the original lease agreement, not the one that's wrapped into the fire contract, that got that on paper, I left it back to the office. But it was the same language that was copied and pasted in. And so based on that, there's actually, that really is the only portion, I believe, that then it says the city will, among other things, paint and repair and keep in good condition the interior of the premises and repair, replace and restore any damage, interior or exterior, occasioned by the city to the building and premises. City will repair at or before the end of the term all injury done by the city as a result of installation or removal of furniture and property, etc. To not disfigure his face in part of the building. There was really nothing that I saw that specified what. We like itemized what we would do.
Okay.
So.
Well, John, we can always. Make the expenditures and track our expenses,
Yeah.
and then we
I
can
mean,
always have
yeah.
that conversation with the city.
And I think to Dave's point, I agree, I mean, if there's life safety, health issues relative to the people that are using the building.
It's
our
pretty
building,
visible
we
in
gotta
there,
be
yeah.
responsible
It's not-
and do the right thing.
I mean. I'll tell you what they tell me, that they are all tired of both parties saying they're gonna do something and nothing gets done.
Yeah, right.
That's what they're tired of. So, they're there because they're doing a job to protect our community and the north end of town or wherever they have to go, so. Outdoor light bulbs, lights we're fixing now, we already bought those, actually got those through NYSERDA, do town hall, now we're doing them down here, so really we just out some labor, but
Mhm.
it's made a difference for lighting down there. Once we get the ventilation and they don't have to open the doors when they start their trucks, so they can do their operations of inspections and whatever they do down there with their equipment, and then excuse me. There are some doors that need to be addressed, so they open and close correctly, so.
Things like that.
We're not talking, that's like huge money, but if we're gonna start talking about. Like, I know the north windows are shot, those are in bad shape. The Murphy bags, they're not in good shape, the bathrooms, I mean, they're just like a house, you know, it's 30+ years old. It needs to be
Kind of
updated,
outdated.
yeah, same with the kitchen, so.
But I think, I agree that the, things like lighting, things that we can do. At pretty much a labor cost, we could just track it. Keep an eye on it. The other thing to remember too is for a few years ago, there was a discussion on whether or not we kept whether or not. We moved on from the building with something new,
Correct.
or if we added onto it and put bathrooms on it and all sorts of other things. I think we're to the spot where. None of that's gonna happen. The building is what it is. It's gonna be a fire station going forward. And now we know that, and that cleared that, that's taken that off the table, which helps. But
Makes it cleaner.
yeah, it's made it's lengthened the process because nobody wanted to do anything because nobody knew. In the long run, what it was gonna end up being. But I think we're in a better spot. I thought it was good yesterday. Everybody behaved. Everybody was, it was a good meeting. Initial discussion.
There is one more thing to add to this list, there's the MS4 mapping.
Oh, yeah, I had that on that, right.
So you guys were awarded a $90,000 grant that's shared between the city and the town, but the town is the lead. Where I'm at with that is I basically reached out to Kevin O'Baney, I just told him, you tell me what you want for scope and then we'll provide you for it. So, I'm just waiting.
Good.
So.
I know he's aware of it.
Yeah, no, they were interested in it. The weird part was I was getting pestered by the city side.
Right.
Berkler was
Yeah,
demanding information and I'm like, cause I think Berkler wants to go in a different direction. I don't know, whatever, who knows? I don't know.
Right.
But the whole thing was like, I was just trying to explain to them, like, the town's the lead on this project. It's awarded to the town. The city is just a, clear pilot.
Right.
So, I'm not sure if you like that answer.
Sometimes they're.
Sometimes they're the pilots.
You know,
No,
right.
I know, but I'm just letting you
Yeah.
guys know, I'm trying to be as transparent as I can,
Yeah.
so. But that would be a good thing to kind of get into, obviously, once the weather changes. If we're gonna do the mapping updates, I mean, you guys have the arrow as well, so I'm like.
we have the equipment.
That's a fantastic device to go ahead and jam stuff out.
What we might to discuss is, at budget time, is the next level of. I'm not sure if we have.
Okay.
We
Do you have Arc
have it.
Pro?
No.
You guys just have the Arc, the mapper,
The basic.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
So there is the Arc Pro, and then they released a new Arrow.
Yes, they did.
Yes, it's so much cooler, dude.
Yeah.
It has
Ours will work.
it has LiDAR on it now, where it's like
Oh, really?
you can lean it over, the trim should shoot down. It has like auto bubble correction, so if like you're off this way, like
Oh, shit.
you still get your accuracy. I mean, this is one of those things I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. They're making
technology.
they're making the the stand tremble, like they're making that stuff obsolete with this stuff, cause you're just live updating right to your cloud. So
Anything else we need to talk about?
the only problem is it's Canadian, so.
How's the water tank?
10% more.
Water tank.
Yeah,
project?
it's 25% more.
Jared, got any
It's-
updates to the farm take?
I was not available for the last update meeting, but. The main thing I know is that what their goals are once the weather clears. I know their goal is, I think, May to have it topped and painted. And that's the biggest change, biggest update that I have going on. As soon as the weather breaks, they wanna have the lid on it. And then paint it. They're still working on the interior. it looks crazy on the inside when you look at those things, but.
It's huge,
Working
right?
on, it's massive, work on the interior electrical and getting all those interior things going on. I don't have anything more specific than that unfortunately, but
You guys
No
like see
hiccups.
this? Like even just driving up.
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, I-
The pedestal,
Yeah.
the pedestal sits above the existing tank.
yeah,
Yeah,
no hiccups, no bumps, nothing crazy happening, everything's still moving on schedule,
So,
on budget.
When will they be finished, you think?
It's next fall, right?
I think
That's
that's,
Fall of
yeah,
25, fall of 25.
yeah, it would probably be, cause they have to have time for, once they raise the steel. To do the painting, and it's gotta be done in a certain condition.
Painting, and that's why they're
They
hoping.
wanna do that, usually they wanna do the painting when it's like summer, cause that's the
Yeah.
most ideal.
Yeah. So I think their initial date was hoping if the days are warm enough in May and the weather's calm enough, starting in that period, we'll hit it as early as the weather will allow.
That it?
Yeah, my assumption, I must be priming it and then.
Okay, we're
I'll
good.
get done to the finish.
Was there anybody online?
Jerry
Well,
was,
see anything to say.
Anyone besides Terry?
Adam Palumbo was on.
But he pulled out, right?
But he left.
Yeah, okay, good. I just, in case somebody needed to say something, wanted to say something.
We got adjourned meeting. Or you end it,
Who adjourned?
or adjourned.
Oh.
Meeting adjourned.